Look at the crowd in this grandstand. Over 145,000 people are here. The infield is packed with motorhomes, and Carl Edwards is putting on a driving display. 0.4 of a second ahead of Greg Biffle. And look, smoke. Tony Stewart's popped up into the top 10. He gained 10 spots before the caution, and he's gained 12 spots since the yellow flag.
But the bad news for those 18 cars that stayed out is we're just about to that window that you're going to have to start making green flag stops. We're seeing the first of them here. Jeremy Mayfield in the 70 was running in the top 10. All of these stops should be 4 tires, but Darrell talked about it at the top of the show. Getting on the pit road here under green. The entrance is right in the middle of turn 4, and it's such a terrible transition getting there.
Your leader, Carl Edwards, to the pit lane along with his teammate Greg Biffle. Dick Berggren.
And here comes Edwards, Mike, and his car is just a little bit tight, not very much tight, to the point that they're only going to make a tire pressure adjustment.
Dick, a crash in turn 2.
We got a crash on the racetrack.
Sam Hornish has crashed. No caution as yet, though Hornish is limping down the back straightaway. Edwards away, Biffle away.
I think if he can get that car to the inside, I don't see any debris back there. I think that's what NASCAR is looking at.
And the track is still clean.
And he gets to the bottom.
He gets to the bottom. So he's going to make it to pit road now, which is great news for Jeremy Mayfield, Greg Biffle, and Carl Edwards.
Heavy right front damage.
They need this thing to cycle through all these green flag stops.
Greg Biffle. You saw him duck down below Edwards and then swing out because Edwards had the first pit stall among the two. Too fast entering pit road. That's a drive-through penalty.
Robin Pemberton with NASCAR came over and talked to you and I, Mike, before the race, said that for some reason they had a lot of that yesterday. And Darrell, I think it's because the entrance is so close to where you come off the racetrack.
Way too short. You can't get woed up right there. You come off at 180 mile an hour, 150 mile an hour, I guess, actually, and you just can't get woed up that quick.
Scott Riggs and the Busch brothers, Kyle in the 18, Kurt in the deuce, and Jeff Gordon are on pit road. Krista?
Jeff Gordon has been fighting his race car for about the last 10 to 12 laps. He said he has no rear grip. Steve Letarte, his crew chief, said, you got to stay out there. I need you to get closer to the fuel window. The time has come. Track bar adjustment and 4 tires for the 24. Matt.
The 18 and 2 teams were boxed into a hole. Pat Trice and Steve Eddington were doing hand signals back and forth. They were concerned a caution was going to come out. They finally had to come. They were in their window. Chassis adjustment for the 18. He's away trying to fix his balance to 2 as well. He was too tight, Dick. Steve.
Matt, chassis adjustment for Mark Martin. They put 1 round in the right rear on lap 25. Mark Martin said, I found my line. Krista.
Kevin Harvick also in this section of pit road. A lot of guys fighting a loose race car as Kevin Harvick's team goes around to the left side to make the tire change there. Kevin Harvick is going to be down and away. The 29 running a little bit loose.
Kurt Busch too fast exiting pit road. Now all of these pit road speeds are timed electronically. It's not a speedometer, but it's the time you take in each segment of pit road. So it's your average over each of those segments. And we have 2 more cars penalized for too fast entering. Here's Matt.
And they've just relayed the message to Kurt Busch, Mike, that he was too fast exiting pit road. He will be coming back. The 07 of Clint Boyer, his car, terrible. It is extremely loose. It's a handful. He's just trying to hang on to it. A number of adjustments.
Boy, can you imagine now, Larry? I mean, with cars making that stop there, some of the cars did on that first caution. They're on a different agenda. Now you got cars on and off of pit road with penalties. We've got a jumbled up mess here right now.
Now, the penalty for speeding under green is what you see Greg Biffle doing. It's called a pass-through. You just have to come back down pit road at 45 miles per hour. You do not have to stop in your pit box and just back out on the racetrack.
Tony Stewart has assumed the lead of this race.
And he's one of those cars that under that first caution went with 2 right side tires, so fuel-wise, he can go just a little bit further than these guys that just pitted.
Kenny Schrader is in for his stop.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson. Bet he'd be glad to see pit road.
Yep, Dave Blaney is with him, so is David Gilliland. Here's Steve.
Mike, Jimmy Johnson was complaining that the car was loose on his entry. You see him on pit road to the right. 4 tires for Jimmy Johnson. Again, his car complaining that he was loose. Chad Canal said that this morning, and trying to fix that is something they have not been able to fix in that race car this weekend.
NASCAR rookie and Indy Racing League champion Sam Hornish has taken his Roger Penske car to the garage.
Rough week for Sam.
Ryan Newman, the Daytona 500, is in. Krista?
Ryan Newman has been saying his race car is real tight in the middle of the turns. His crew chief Roy McCauley said he planned to lower the left side air pressures to help that tight condition. Again, it's in the middle of the turns for this year's Daytona 500 winner.
Now, what Tony Stewart right there would love to see, he would love to see a caution right now, because right now he has all but 17 cars a lap down, and he will probably have to come to pit road here in the next 6 to 8 laps.
Dale Jarrett is running 12th right now, was running like 35th or 33rd before all these pit stops started, because they had come to pit road on that first caution. That's what this has done to the field right now.
Casey Mears is in, as well as Michael Waldrop, and here comes Stewart surrendering the lead, and Juan Pablo Montoya in the pit lane. Steve?
Mike, Tony Stewart saying that his car is solid on his entry to the corners, but it's tight from the center off when he gets back on the gas. He took 2 tires on his last stop. This time it's 4 tires for Tony Stewart.
Denny Hamlin is in, and so is David Rudiman. Rudiman a couple of laps down after bouncing it off the wall there.
But I tell you what, that's going to be a battle for the lead there on the left. That's Matt Kenseth in the 17, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 running second. He's wanting the lead of this race.
Dick?
And Denny Hamlin is on pit road right now, Mike. The car has been a little bit too tight today. Needs to have better exit speed. He's got 4 tires and he's out of here.
Dario Franchitti, Travis Kvapil, and David Reagan making pit stops. As
There
up
he goes.
front.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What?
Hold on to your helmet. Hold on to your hat. The 88 is going to be leading the race when they go by here.
And you mentioned those 140-something thousand people. They are all standing right now. But now, it's not because of better tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, they're on about the same agenda. Both of them made that stop on the first caution.
And
Matt,
more pit this time by 4100. Be careful.
Matt Kenseth is in front of Krista.
And Matt Kenseth had made that stop for right side tires back on lap 10. He stayed out to get those bonus points. Matt Kenseth had said on his radio on that last run he was so loose he would crash his car if he tried to drive it any harder. They're tightening up the 17. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr., who stayed out, who actually pitted on that first caution, so he had that opportunity to stand a little bit longer than some of the guys that pitted a few laps ago. Junior says his car, still like the first run, way too free. Just slick on that right rear. As Tony Eury Jr. calls him down into his pit box, the car still pretty solid, though. The only other issue he had, Mike Joy, was the car, he said, was bouncy when he was running the bottom line down in turns 1 and 2. Solid stop so far by the National Guard guys. Gloves are on, and he's away.
Casey Kane is in, Paul Menard, Dale Jarrett.
I have a
Cycle
challenge.
through
Have a challenge for our pit crew people. See if you can find anybody that likes their car.
I don't think we have found that all
I don't
weekend
think
long.
so either, man. I never heard of like adjustments.
Dave Blaney and Robbie Gordon come to pit lane. That should pretty much get us through this cycle of stops.
It's close. It's close. Real close.
I think that puts the 99 back in the lead
I
now.
think the last car just hit pit road, Kyle Petty in the 45 car.
4 tires for Robbie Gordon, and it looks like Kyle will look for 4 as well. So we cycle through green flag pit stops. We've had only 1 caution flag all day, and Carl Edwards once again is your race leader. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.